It was the year 1050, when the chieftain of the Viking clan, Gudbrand the Grim, set out with his army to plunder Normandy. While they were in Normandy, they discovered a secret room in an abbey. The Vikings thought that the room would have fortune, and to that end the priests were attempting to prevent him and his men from entering it. But they found neither gold nor silver. The monks were begging Gudbrand for their own safety. They knew that whatever sinister creature was inside had the potential to unleash ruin on the entire human race. But Gudbrand didn't listen to them, and believing him to be just about as trustworthy as the divine beings, they looted the room. They found a little pup there, and though it looked harmless at first, none of them understood they had released the Hound of Hell. But before the ship reached Norway, all of the army was dead. The dog leaped ashore, and thus, evil found its way and hid inside deep into the dense Nordic woods.
The same woods, 1,000 years later, humanity had forgotten that anything of that sort had at any point ever happened. In the present day, introduces 17-year-old Thale, who had recently moved to Nybo. Thale was extremely close to her sister, Jenny, who was hearing and speech impaired. Thale's mom, Liv Berg, was a deputy in the Norwegian police force. Thale's mother had married another guy named Arthur after her father had died. Thale had still not acknowledged Arthur as a part of her family, and though she was friendly with him, she states clearly that he could never be his father. One day, Jonas, a friend of Thale, had texted her, asking if she would be joining them at the bay that evening. Thale went out to meet him and a few other kids from her school. As Thale talks to Jonas, they are interrupted by a girl named Ellen Grand and steals Jonas away to talk privately. As the sun sets, Thale decides to walk back. Thale notices Jonas and Ellen talking near the woods. She decides to keep walking when she hears a scream.
Thale notices Ellen is injured and rushes to her aid. An unknown attacker assaults Thale and drags Ellen away. Jonas is also bleeding nearby. However, they were not able to see what attacked them, so they couldn't understand what sort of creature it was. Jonas and Thale were seriously injured, but the predator had taken Ellen Grant inside the woods.
The authorities quickly take control of the situation. Liv arrives at the scene and finds out her daughter was there. Her daughter survived, much to her relief, despite suffering some injuries. Led by Sheriff Eilert, the police dispatch a search party for Ellen. They found a phone and what appears to be a claw of an animal. The next day, Liv tried talking to Thale about the attack. Cops also questioned all of the kids who were in the woods that night about what had happened. But no one had seen anything that could help the police make a breakthrough. But the police have the assumption that it's a wolf since they recovered a claw from the crime scene. Ellen Grant's body was finally found. Her mother was devastated. And though it looked like she was attacked, the coroner remarks that no ordinary wolf could have accomplished such a feat. The autopsy reveals shocking injuries, and the abrasions were so huge that the medical expert wasn't able to ascertain what kind of animal it was. The forensic pathologist asked Liv to contact an expert from the Norwegian School of Veterinary Science that would be able to tell better if it was a wolf or something else. One night, a man was breaking into the morgue where Ellen's body is kept and inspecting the wounds that were inflicted on her. After seeing the wounds, Lars Broden goes to the police station and asks to meet with the police chief. Liv talked with him and he told her that the predator who had killed Ellen was a lycanthrope, a type of werewolf he had spent his entire life hunting. Lars informed Liv that the wolf could only be killed with a special silver bullet. Liv doesn't believe him and Lars respectfully leaves, stating that he'll be at the hunting ground should they need his help later. However, he leaves some silver bullets with her. Liv notices the cut on Thale's shoulder had not healed. She tried to help her, but Thale just dismissed her mother. Thale started having bizarre dreams. In her dream, she is in the woods, unconscious and floating in the water. There are times when she feels nauseous. She even has an episode at school where she hears weird noises. Even her hallucination just keeps getting worse. She is terrified, angry and sad, and just wants to run away from it all. William, a veterinary expert from the Norwegian School of Veterinary Science, arrived. He examined Ellen's body. He concluded that the predator was a wolf, though he couldn't figure out how the beast's claws could be so much larger than a normal wolf's. With this news, Liv got the hunting permit and a hunting party was formed. The Norwegian police force started the search for the wolf. Liv, Sheriff Eilert, and a few hunters venture into the woods. They come across the headless body of an asylum seeker. Liv assigns a few of them to guard it. Their sniffer dog detects a scent, which leads them to an abandoned air shaft from an old copper mine. Liv goes inside to investigate.
The beast finally emerged from its hiding place and attacked them. The ones outside are ripped apart by a huge wolf.
The beast almost kills Liv. Liv fractured her wrist from the fall and needs to be casted. Eilert survives, but is non-responsive. He is admitted to the hospital with bite wounds. Despite suffering some casualties, the police force was able to kill the terrifying creature. One night, Jenny found Thale outside their house. Thale is just standing there. Jenny helped her go back to her room while she was sleepwalking. When William examined the dead wolf's body, he noticed that normal lead bullets had done no damage to it, but the single silver bullet caused a strange chemical reaction that killed the beast. Liv realized Lars Broden was telling the truth. She went to meet him again with William. Lars welcomed them into his caravan and told them everything he knew about the monster. Lars wanted them to be aware of the possibility of the werewolf infecting another human. When a person is bitten, he will experience a gradual transformation and turn into a demonic wolf. He explained that the predator was always motivated by a desire for human blood. Lars says that once the werewolf bites another person and they do not die, his poison begins to take over their body. Lars informs that once the curse is complete, the human is lost forever, and the only way to kill it would be by ending the bloodline. All those who have been infected must be killed to make sure the poison cannot be transmitted any further and the bloodline will be severed. One night, Thale went out unnoticed. She meets up with Jonas. While Jonas is on the phone, Thale looks at the moon. She can feel her body is changing. Thale had another dream. Just like in her previous dream, she was floating in the water. But this time she is covered in blood. The next day, she awakens in her garage in human form, but with sharp teeth. Her facial features have begun to resemble those of an animal. She found a horrifying discovery: a finger inside her mouth. At the crime scene, after analyzing the wounds, William realized that this creature was not as big as the one they had killed earlier. He informs Liv that the wolf that killed Jonas was smaller. Thale realized this is her doing. She is the one who attacked and killed Jonas. Meanwhile, Lars goes to the hospital. After inspecting the wounds of Eilert, he pulls the plug on his machine. William obtains a DNA test result for the previously killed beast. When the reports came, it was established that the predator had a lot of similarities with human DNA. William knew that an infected person had transformed into a werewolf.
Thale, who had gone into hiding, boarded a bus.
She decides to leave town. While in the bus, she gazes at the full moon and her body starts changing. Thale completely transformed into a werewolf in the middle of her journey. She began killing the passengers on the bus.
Liv is alerted to the situation, and she rushes to the Nibo tunnel.
Liv discovers Thale's watch inside the wrecked bus. William arrives on the scene as well. As the veterinarian tells her about the human DNA, Liv realized it was her daughter who had turned into a werewolf. It was a difficult situation for a mother because, on one hand, She was responsible for people, and on the other, her daughter had turned into a bloodthirsty predator. Thale reaches her house and finds Jenny. She had lost control of herself. Jenny looked the wolf in the eyes and immediately recognized it as her own sister. Jenny's presence calmed Thale, and she felt as if she could overpower her instincts without hurting her.
Then suddenly Arthur entered the house. Seeing Jenny in the presence of a deadly predator, he began attacking it with whatever he had. Arthur and Jenny escape the house. The werewolf chases them. But Arthur is revealed to be injured. Due to excessive loss of blood, he crashes the car near a pub full of people. Thale arrives and starts killing everyone in sight.
Jenny confronted her sister once more, and this time she felt confident she could control her.
But this time, Liv and William arrived on the scene and shot the werewolf with a tranquilizer. Unfortunately, it didn't stop the predator. The beast went after them full force. Lars Broden arrived and sped up his caravan and rammed it into the werewolf in the hopes of injuring it. But his efforts were futile, and he was also killed. The werewolf attacked Liv. William could not help as he was injured himself.
Jenny finally brought the wolf to a halt by stabbing it with a tranquilizer. It was difficult for her to do because she knew it was her own sister, but she had no other choice. The unconscious werewolf was brought to the forensics lab. Liv knew she had to be killed so she wouldn't be able to attack anyone else. She apologizes to the unconscious werewolf that was once her daughter and prepares to shoot with a silver bullet. In the final scene, Liv returns home. She places the unfired silver bullet on her nightstand in front of her daughter's picture.